My key learnings in 3 years and going into many, many companies is how tricky this is, how complicated it is. You solve one issue and it creates another one. Things like came up the other day that somebody was given leave. She didn't want to tell anyone in her branch why she was taking leave, and it was, we've got a secret code for domestic violence leave. Then her boss rang and said, why the hell isn't she at work, and why is she going over my head? And we're like, there's another problem we didn't think about. I've had companies where a director of the company, and we're talking about a big company, a director of the company reported, but her partner was a partner for that company, so he was grades above her, and they had the whole, burden of proof. Could they just sack him? Well, they got round it, they did sack him, but the upshot for her, and we were all patting ourselves on the back, look at what we've done. She's safe, he's lost his job. She's now lost her house because he couldn't afford to help her pay the mortgage. So as we do this, and I'm hoping, back somewhere in 3 years, we're going, wow, look how much we've learnt again. And I think what's stopping a lot of people taking action and doing things is the fear of getting it wrong. But it's by getting it wrong, we will get it right.
There's always a next phase, but it doesn't start and stop on any particular day. And it's just, when we launched some guidelines around how to go about implementing or complying, it's not quite the right word, but implementing family violence policies in the water sector. And in my preface to that, I do talk about, I can't remember if it was Robin or Lisa said, but we've got to experiment, we've got to try things, and some things aren't going to work, and that's not, that's unfortunate, but it's the way we're going to learn. And that's exactly the sentiment expressed there. So this is something that we'll be coming back to over and over again, and we'll be doing it not on our own, we'll be doing it with the sector, we'll be doing it with experts. We're all going to have to learn. If there was an answer to this, an easy answer, we would have just written it down and that would have been the end of it.
Again, I'm going to use myself as the case study. I've been abused by my brother and literally had to put him back together with genuine guilt. My ex-husband, I think you could get an expert to spend 6 weeks just explaining the concept of guilt and he would never get it. So I think, perpetrators like victims are on a continuum. And my thing is, for companies to understand, my ex-husband was very high up. He had a lot of people working under him. He wasn't just a perpetrator at home. His team didn't understand why they didn't feel good at their jobs. He wasn't the sort that anyone would go, my boss is horrible, but he'd steal their ideas. So I think some do feel guilty and some don't, and it's like everything else, it's very complex, but I think we have to try and deal with the ones that want help, and then I think we'll then be isolating the ones that don't, and they'll become more obvious. But like Robin said, that's a long-term plan, but I do think with perpetrator programs has to come perpetrator consequences. If it's in the workplace and they've been bullying and there's domestic violence, then you do this program, or there's a consequence that you will lose your position or your job, and the same with law enforcement.
In the end, Rosie Batty held up a mirror to Australia, I think. And I guess that was part of the turning point in this country, when it was no longer just to say, well, it's someone else, because she wasn't someone else, she was just like everyone else. And I think that's allowed, like I say, people like me sort of to say, oh shit, it's real, it's out there, and it's not far away. And as someone said to me, I think maybe Lucy said to me yesterday, it can walk in the door tomorrow. And that's something that I suppose hadn't even occurred to me beforehand. So the more we talk about it, I guess, the more we hear about how it's real, and it's real in the worlds we occupy, not someone else's world, but it's real in our own world. I think that helps. There's some way that the Me Too thing is helping.
Yeah.
And I just think that's just so important, and we just got to encourage it. And thankfully, we are seeing it encouraged.